Honestly, have you ever seen anything like this?
No.
Seven coming up next. Welcome back to Nerd is the New Cool. My name is Justin, and with me is not John Doe, but John Lambert.
Yes, John Lambert. I have a last name. How's it
Welcome.
going, man?
Doing great. Also joined with us for the first time is our good friend, Miss Alia Curry. Good to see you.
Hey,
Good to
Alia.
see you guys.
This is really exciting. So we are here to talk about Seven, and for a couple different reasons. A, because it came out 30 years ago, but B, because Alia, you wanted to talk about Seven. So you get to start and tell us why this was an episode you wanted to discuss with us.
You guys were doing anniversary show movies,
Mhm.
and this was one of the ones at the top of the list. It is pretty iconic. Um, other than, well, not other than, but like the actors, the director, just all of it. It really is just one of those exceptional movies.
Can I ask,
So
is this the genre of film that you like?
as far as thriller, like neo-noir kind of stuff goes, I guess I do. I not always, but yeah, as far as this goes, this is at the top of the list for that kind of genre.
I have a really complicated relationship with this movie, and I want to know, Lambert, is this do you like this kind of film?
I mean, that's kind of a loaded question. Um, do in general, probably not.
Yeah.
Do I thoroughly enjoy this? And was I at the edge of my seat during the rewatch when I watched this about a week ago? Absolutely.
Nice.
This we'll get into it. We'll get into it later, but this movie absolutely holds up. Like even if you know what's going to happen, like it's still just so good. But in general, like these aren't the type of movies that I lean towards. Like even like when this movie came out in 95 and now 30 years later, it's still not like I don't seek out this kind of genre, but I do enjoy like this is very well done. Alia touched on that, so I will enjoy a good one from time to time, but generally no.
So my complicated relationship is that I really do not like horror movies. I
Oh, I hate horror movies, but I don't consider this a horror movie.
Well, but I feel like I torture myself with suspense thriller. Those are also not really my favorite genres, but I almost like to get scared, but then I will never go back to it again. So this is a movie that I've seen a bunch of times, but like I was kind of I don't want to say not looking forward to it, but it's a movie that I adore, but it's really a hard one to watch.
There are hard parts to watch. I was unlike you, I was very excited for the rewatch because I haven't seen this in so long, so I was I was looking forward to it, but then even in the back of my head I'm like yeah, but then there's that. Yeah, then there's that scene. Yeah, then there's that scene. It's like, I'll power through. It's fine. So I didn't avert my eyes or anything like that. But yeah, there's definitely some scenes where it's a little cringe.
Yeah, and like I think I feel the same way about Twin Peaks, which is a show
Oh,
that I can't say I loved watching growing up, but I watched it just like with bated breath, and it like still gives me nightmares. Event Horizon is kind of in the same boat, right?
yes,
Where it's
yes,
I respect how good it is, and but man, does it just fuck you up, right?
yes.
I
And there's a lot of films like that. So, I the first time I saw this was in college. I'm sure that we're all kind of, I mean, we're all in the same boat. We're the same age. But
probably,
how,
yeah.
how did you guys rewatch it recently? In what format?
I watched it on Prime.
You did?
Same.
Okay.
Yeah, I streamed it. If I could have found the DVD, I would have watched it on
Like
DVD just because
I'm
I think that there's so many more extras and that kind of thing that would have been like so much fun to watch, you
I
know.
I probably do own it, but I just didn't take the time to look.
Well, I did, and
Good
I
for you.
I do own it, and that's how I watched it.
I figured.
Here are some supplemental materials that you had mentioned, Ali. It's got, first of all, talk about just taking you back to the 90s where when you put a DVD in, the case is like it's this whole themed thing. When you put the disc in, you've got the title and like all the different chapters that are creepy as fuck. Just sitting there in the title screen is like giving me the heebie-jeebies. Like it was wild. Um, some supplemental materials, they do an exploration of the title sequence. So they talk about like why Fincher wanted to do the title sequence that way. There's deleted scenes. There's an alternate ending, actually alternate endings. And then there's also storyboards. And the most fascinating part was that you could go in and actually like read the notebooks. So the
Oh,
notebooks that
wow.
John Doe had written, and they talk about how, it would take weeks and months and years, or whatever, to comb through all of this. Like you can actually go through bits of it on screen, which I thought was pretty. Really, I mean, honestly, the most interesting part of the entire DVD set. So, kind of find it fascinating.
I'm a little jealous.
Yeah, and it still had my row numbers on it too, Lambert. So I knew it was mine.
Of course. Yeah. Or the white
Yeah,
tape?
the yellow tape was mine. Yeah,
Yellow tape. Yellow tape. I couldn't remember which color.
yeah. No, I had both. uh, well, so there's a lot of things that make this movie great. Let's kind of touch on a few of them, kind of going through here. So, first of all, this is kind of uh, honestly, piggybacking on a movie we recently couple movies we recently covered, but this is kind of like the era of where the endings are either shocking or like the good guys just don't win, right? And I think it goes without saying, if we haven't said already, like we're gonna spoil all of Seven. So if you haven't seen it, it's been 30 years, sorry, we're gonna spoil the ending, but
Get on it.
let me. Does anybody any movies that like come up that pop into your head about where the good guy isn't necessarily who's coming up or coming out victorious? Because this really was that time. I'll just rattle some off because I got a list here already. Usual Suspects obviously is a good one. Primal Fear was, I think, like perfect example,
Excellent.
right?
Yeah.
Of Edward Norton is revealed to be the killer and he did it intentionally, the whole thing. Fallen, Silence of the Lambs, where you're
Mm.
literally rooting for Hannibal Lecter. 12 Monkeys, another Brad Pitt incredible movie. And then The Talented Mr. Ripley, which was another really good one. That was with Matt Damon. And there's a ton of other ones that all came out in the 90s. But my question, and this maybe speaks to like the theme of this movie, but Lambert, what do you think that as a history person, what does that tell us about society in the 90s?
And I mean, it was the 90s were a strange and magical time. We were actually talking about this over the weekend. Um, and you kind of you don't see that, but you see shifts in culture to where, I mean, even like take it back to 90s music, like what did grunge come out of? Grunge was just anti-hair metal. It was here, and then the pendulum swung all the way over, and you had grunge for a minute, and then you had alternative rock and everything like that. So you have, I'm just riffing now, you have all the heroes movies of the 80s
Hmm.
where the good guy like Indiana Jones, he always beats the Nazis. Like you can go farther back with Star Wars. You can go like all the like the hero, the Sly Stallone, all those movies from the 80s of the good guy winning every single time. So what's the antithesis to that? Maybe the good guy doesn't win. Or maybe the guy who you thought was bad, maybe he wasn't so bad after all. And it's just that natural swing of the pendulum back to what people aren't used to. And it happens in what happens in movies, it happens in music, it happens everywhere. It happens in politics for sure. But it's just that constant back and forth of this society gets used to one thing. And it's like, well, like that's not cool anymore. We got to do something different. So let's go this way.
Hmm. Well, and also it was kind of like you're speaking about those 80s like and even like hair metal, right? It's super over the top. It's unrealistic. Half it doesn't make any sense. Suspension of disbelief. And this is kind of the time where it's like you said, grunge, alternative, punk rock, but
A little
also like
real. It's
let's
getting
make it
real.
more they can make it more real, right? And when
Yeah.
you have things that are more real, sadly, the bad guys do win more often.
Hmm.
And so
If
I
you're gonna
think,
talk about real life, yeah.
right. Let's get into some of the major players. So, Kevin Spacey, who's really not on screen very much in this movie, but he delivers an incredible like finale, right?
Yes, he
Oh
does.
yeah, absolutely.
And we've discussed this at length already, obviously with his sexual alleg or scandal and allegations, but you know, he wins an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor in 1996, which is right after this. And so this is kind of like Kevin Spacey, like the 90s is like when Kevin Spacey was like, you know,
Big.
he was in everything.
Yeah, that was his
Hmm.
heyday for sure.
Yep.
And then you go to Brad Pitt, right? And we know of who Brad Pitt is now and like the stature and the A-list and everything. But it's hard to maybe it's easy to forget that like this time of his career, he isn't that big A-list action star yet. This is like right before that hits.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's definitely on the cusp of that. Like this is absolutely what helped propel him into that for sure.
Well, and
Yep. I
before
thought it
go ahead.
was interesting, like again, upon the rewatch, not really paying attention to that until now. Like he got top billing. His name comes up first at the
Yeah.
beginning of the movie, not Morgan Freeman. So I thought that was very interesting that even again, this is kind of the beginning of his ascension,
Yeah.
so to speak. But like I thought it was interesting that like he still got the top bill on this movie. And I never noticed that until now.
This is definitely a time where he's starting to take on different roles. So if you think about like what he had been in
Yes.
before this, right? Before it was like A River Runs Through It and
Hmm.
Hmm.
Thelma and Louise, and I guess
Hmm.
he's also in Interview with the Vampire, but he's kind of like a pretty boy, right? And then this hits, and right after this, he does 12 Monkeys, and right after that, he does Fight Club, and all of a sudden, it's like, oh, he is like the alt A list actor, right?
Right. He's not just a pretty boy. Like, oh, he might actually be good at this.
But
Oh,
he's edgy, he's
but he's
badass,
edgy and he's still good looking.
and
Yeah.
Yeah.
obviously very, very good looking. Yeah. um, all right. So anyway, Brad Pitt's super fascinating. Let's touch on Morgan Freeman just for a second because he's got a really interesting career trajectory.
Hmm.
When we know him, we obviously know him from this movie, and we know him from like Bruce Almighty and Evan Almighty, and then of course
Lean on Me if you
Lean
want
on
to
Me
go
and
farther
Shawshank
back.
Redemption. And Shawshank
Shawshank.
Redemption.
It's probably Shawshank.
But that's like in the late 80s, early like in the 90s is when he really makes a name for himself on like the global stage. He was in the Electric Company during the 70s,
Yep.
which is crazy. Um, he's in a movie called, I'm sorry, he's in a Tony. He was nominated for a Tony Award for Best Featured Actor in a Play for his role as Zeke in The Mighty Gents. That's in 1978. So he's like doing a lot of like again, not super crazy popular things,
He's he's
stage
working.
stage acting, right? But then he hits in 1988. He is nominated for I didn't know this one. I knew about Driving Miss Daisy in 90, but in 88
Mm.
he's actually nominated for supporting role for a movie called Street Smart. Not super.
I haven't seen that one.
I haven't heard of that one
Yeah.
either.
Mm-mm.
Year before this is Shawshank Redemption, where he gets nominated for best supporting or best lead actor actually for Shawshank. Um, and then he wins best supporting actor for Million Dollar Baby in 2005. And he also gets nominated for Invictus in 2010. So I just think it's interesting that you don't really think about like the 90s is when he's huge, but he'd been working for like 2 decades before that until we really knew
Yeah.
him for anything. All right. Well, before we get to the categories, we do have to talk about the man who created this whole thing, David Fincher. And I'm just curious because a lot of people have different relationships with David Fincher's, films and whatnot. But Alia, what's your favorite David Fincher like property?
Are you talking about film? Because I have a list of things to go into,
It could be
if not now, later.
no, please, no. Right now is the time. Let's talk David Fincher.
Okay, all right. So probably my favorite would be it has to be Fight Club over this.
Yeah,
Um, it has to be. It's just I remember at the time it was like so amazing and it took so many rewatches to catch all of the little things. that he did and the details and the way it was done. It was stunning. The two things I have to say, I have to talk about when I was looking into stuff that he had done before directing film was the music videos that he directed.
Mhm.
And when you look through the list of people that he directed music videos for, it is like the best of the best in the 80s and into the 90s. I was like in shock. I was in absolute shock. Like I did not realize that. So two things I have to talk about real quick is I was like, I have to look. There were some that I was just like not familiar with, meaning that so the first music video he ever did was for Rick Springfield. And
Mhm.
it's called Bop Till You Drop.
Okay.
And I don't know if you haven't watched it, you need to stop everything you're doing and go and watch it because it is literally it's literally like it's 5 minutes. It's worth the 5 minutes to watch. It's like Dune meets Alien. And the amount of like the detail in the makeup and the costume and all of it, it's it doesn't make sense at all. The words do not match what is happening in the music video, but I was totally into it. I was like, this is fucking amazing. I can see why he got Alien 3, like just off of that
Yeah.
music video alone. And then the second one, real quick, is that he directed my most favorite music video of all time, and that is George Michael's Freedom. And to me, that's like pinnacle 90s, early 90s, like era supermodel beauty. Like it
Mhm.
just stunning. That's my favorite music video of all time. It's just amazing. So I was just like, holy shit. So yeah.
You know what's funny is that's the only George Michael song I have on like this playlist I listen to all the time is Freedom. And I also agree. I think that music video is so good. I mean, it's got Kathy Ireland or not Kathy Ireland, what's her name?
It's got Cindy Crawford,
Cindy
Christy
Crawford.
Turlington, Linda Evangelista, Naomi Campbell. Those are the four big names. I just
Yeah.
wrote down the four big names. There's a couple of other women, and then male models as well who I hadn't heard of. But I mean, like, they're all like ridiculously gorgeous, you
Yeah.
know?
I just remember
So,
Cindy Crawford in the bathtub and like
no,
wine glasses smashing on the walls and shit. Like I mean
yep.
it's a very good.
He did, yeah, he did his, you're right, his music video resume is, he did
Paula
Suit and Tie
Abdul,
for Justin
Madonna,
Timberlake,
freaking, yeah. It's insane. It just kind of
which
goes
is
on.
which is crazy. He did, I mean, I didn't realize like he did A Perfect Circle, like for their like debut single.
Yeah.
He did that one. And yeah, he did a ton for Madonna, a ton for George Michael,
Yeah.
He
Michael Jackson,
even did Janie's
Nine
Got
Inch
Done.
Nine Inch Nails, like
Yeah. Yeah. Huey Lewis in the news.
Well, so I mean, listen, Fincher has an incredible like
Or is
career.
that right? Maybe I'm
I,
looking the wrong one.
I don't know, maybe, but let me go through some of these things that he's done. So,
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah. Sorry.
first of all, his films have like he's known for like the psychological thriller. I mean, you could even argue like Alien 3 has got some, or maybe we could say that this movie has some real Alien 3 vibes to it. I mean, it's like what's lurking around the corner, right? Uh,
yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, the serial killer is pretty much like a xenomorph almost. Um, but his films have grossed over $2.1 billion worldwide. He's won a bunch of awards, a couple Grammys, a Primetime Emmy, a BAFTA, a Golden Globe Award. But he actually started his career, or one of his first jobs, was working for ILM, and he actually served as an assistant cameraman and matte photographer for Return of the Jedi, which
Oh,
is
wow.
pretty cool. And also Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
There you go.
He he leaves there and he starts doing commercials. He actually did a commercial for the American Cancer Society. And you mentioned not just Rick Springfield, but he also directed a Rick Springfield documentary called To the Beat of the Live Drum. So that was kind of one of his first things making film wise. And then he gets into, yeah, making more TV commercials for Levi, Converse, Nike, Pepsi. Coca-Cola, Chanel. He didn't like doing that, obviously, so he eventually moved into making music videos. A couple people he didn't mention was he does music videos for Don Henley. I
That's
think
right.
I think maybe someone said Paula Abdul.
Yeah.
He also did Aerosmith, Billy Idol's Cradle of Love, and I think Madonna's biggest one is Vogue, and that's I think
Yeah.
the one most people recognize the most. And you can kind of see there's some really cool stylistic stuff that he's doing, especially with Vogue. And he actually says he took inspiration from the films of the 1920s and 30s. And a lot of people call that like the best music video of all time. Like at least it's in the conversation. He directed 53 music videos, by the way. Then he gets into film. And Lambert, I didn't ask you this question, so let me ask you, like, what Fincher film do you like the most?
Yeah, Alia already said it. It's Fight Club.
Okay. All right.
Sorry.
No, no, it's great. So his first one is Alien 3. That's in 92. That's his debut feature film. Does this in 95. The Game is in 97. Fight Club's in 99. And there's quite a few other ones. I think Fight Club is probably the right answer. I gotta tell you though, like I don't think you can sleep on The Game.
I
The game is
honestly, I
messed
have
up.
to say the game is fantastic. I love it. It's totally edge of your seat and it's so good.
Yeah. And movie buffs would actually probably say the answer might be The Social Network because of all the awards it
Um,
won. And
I mean, I enjoyed that movie as well.
some people are like obsessed with that movie. I like it. It's definitely good, but I don't know if it's as good as people.
I mean, it's got a really good combination because you have Fincher directing and Aaron Sorkin wrote it. So those
um,
are two
yeah.
top-notch human beings when it comes to making movies.
Not bad. And then
No,
finally, he also has recently got into television a little bit. He's the executive director or executive producer and director of House of Cards. So kind of another Kevin Spacey property. He did Mindhunter, which
Oh,
either
oh,
of you seen that?
awesome.
amazing.
Yeah.
Season three
I
coming
read
out.
recently they might be making a third season, which
I heard the same thing.
they're freaking better. And he's currently doing a show called on Netflix, Love, Death, and Robots.
Oh, that's a good one. That I like those. Yeah. Love, Death, and Robots is pretty good too.
Yeah, it's on my list of things to watch. So anyway, so I mean, just murderer's row of actors kind of either about to hit their prime, in their prime. Fincher, obviously, and the way he makes films and music videos, as we've learned, and just overall themes for this movie that make it just incredible. So let's get into the category. So summary, according to IMDb, two detectives, a rookie and a veteran, hunt a serial killer who uses the seven deadly sins as his motives. Pretty straightforward.
Can I call out the obvious flaw in that? He's not a rookie.
He's not a rookie. I wrote that later on in my
He's not.
thought.
He's new, and Morgan Freeman, Somerset makes, he references that, numerous times at the very beginning. It's like, worked homicide for 5 years. Not here.
Yeah. So
So he wasn't
yeah,
a rookie. Whatever.
maybe it's a loose term. Maybe it's his first year as a detective. I don't know.
I
Legal.
No, he was a detective for 5 years. He just wasn't doing it in that city.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't like that. That is the major flaw of the summary.
Wild flaw.
Debuted September 22nd, 1995, has a runtime of 2 hours and 7 minutes. Alia, question we always ask our guests: did it feel like it was 2 hours and 7 minutes?
No, actually. I think it felt shorter a little bit, but I think it's, in my opinion, it's because it's segregated in the way that it is between the seven deadly sins. It moves, the pace is very quick.
This movie flies.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, we're already at freaking one of the latter like sloth or something, and you're like, this movie is like almost over with. And then
Yeah.
there's a little bit of slowdown, and I actually forgot a little bit about the order of the scenes. But we'll get to that later on.
So did I. Yeah.
I thought that the chase happened before some other part of this. Anyway, um,
Okay.
let's see where to go. Run budget $33 million estimated. It grossed 328, almost $329 million globally. Was the seventh highest grossing film of 1995. Couple awards. It was nominated for Oscar for Best Film Editing. That's Richard Francis Bruce, and it was the winner of the Critics' Choice Award for Best Supporting Actor, which is Kevin Spacey. And again, he's great in it, but he really is only in 5 scenes. I mean, if that, it's
He's
not
in the
very.
movie for 10 minutes.
Yeah, right. If you know, I'll spoil a nerd fact for later on, but he actually plays the photographer when he's
Yeah, I mean, you can hear his
interacting.
voice. Like you
You
can tell
can.
that's him. Yeah,
Okay. So he's like he's in scenes, but it's not, you don't actually know it's him until later on anyway. But he's really not in the movie at all.
it's very Hannibal Lecter-esque of Silence of the Lambs because you know Anthony Hopkins is barely in that movie.
Yeah,
Screen
Yeah.
time.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
He got best actor, I think.
Well, he probably best supporting. I would hope it was supporting actor because he wasn't on screen for very long.
I think it's actor. But either way, regardless, he's not in it very long. The BS rankings, Rotten Tomatoes gives it a tomato meter, which are the critics, 84%, popcorn meter, which is the audience of 95%. And as always, IMDb gives it less than it should with 8.6. That's actually a pretty respectable number considering IMDb are a bunch of fanboy douchebags. Um, the Spielberg Award for directing, we've already mentioned David Fincher. He actually has 95 credits. I think it's worth mentioning how many credits he really does have. I didn't mention a couple here. The Killer, Gone Girl, also other movies that he made. Jan is a big Gone Girl fan.
Oh, quick, quick note. Anthony Hopkins did win Best Actor,
Yeah,
despite only being on screen for 16 minutes.
yeah, that's what I
Holy
thought.
crap.
I was pretty
Out of
confident it was.
and the runtime was 118. He was on screen for 16 minutes and won Best Actor. Very impressive. Anyways,
I mean, the way the Academy works, right, depends on where you submit them. So they could have submitted Kevin Spacey, an actor, possibly, and if they thought he was going to win better, had a better chance of winning there.
that's a good point.
But he obviously wasn't and didn't. The Tarantino Award for writing, written by Andrew Kevin Walker. A couple other things he wrote: 8 millimeter, Sleepy Hollow, and The Killer, which I haven't seen The Killer yet. I don't know if either of you have.
I've
I'm
never
not.
heard of it.
Got Michael Fassbender. It came out like around COVID time, or maybe a year or two after that, I believe. But it's on my. I mean, it's a movie I would definitely want to watch, but I haven't seen it. All right, now we get to pick and argue and make decisions. So the Tom Hanks Best Leading Role Award. We've got Morgan Freeman plays Somerset and Brad Pitt plays Mills. So we'll let our guests go first on this category. Who's the best leading actor?
This is awful.
There's
That's
no wrong
awful.
answer. There's no wrong
There
answer.
is
Okay,
no wrong answer,
so
by the way.
all right.
They are, and yes, they are both great. Get that out of the way.
I'm gonna go with Brad Pitt because of how it ends and his emotional range and having to go through the emotions of like witnessing your wife's head in a box. Sorry, ruined that. So
It's too late. It's been 30
but
years.
believable. It was so good. He wins. To me, number one. He's yeah, best
Yeah.
actor.
Good reasoning. Usually the reasonings for picking one of these people are standout moment, like leads the whole thing, obviously, or it could be like who could you not replace? Like, could you pull one person out and put a different actor in there, and it would probably be just as good or better, or maybe slightly, worse. But
Got it.
Lambert,
I would say Morgan Freeman.
yeah,
Mainly because like again, aside from the very end of the movie where Brad Pitt is obviously the central focus, like a lot of it's based on Morgan. Like
Yeah, that's a good
Morgan's the
point.
one that's driving the investigation. He's the one that's feeding the information to Mills, and he's the one that's kind of like doing a lot of the legwork when it comes to the investigation and really helping it along and kind of showing the air quotes rookie, the ropes of everything. And he's kind of the central figure for through most of the movie.
yeah.
So, but
I
again, both
I,
are fantastic.
I agree with you, Alia, that I think Brad Pitt has the best moment in this movie, but I gotta take Morgan Freeman as well. I think he's the hardest to replace because he just plays the grizzled old veteran that you just love so well throughout the entire, like you are.
Just totally condescending.
Yeah, right. I'm like
I'm standing right here, like you can yeah.
yeah. No, I mean
Won't
they're both
fight you
great.
on it. I won't fight you on it. That's fine.
Let's see. Other four Jackson secondary characters. So Kevin Spacey plays John Doe. Gwyneth Paltrow plays Tracy, Mills's wife. Reg E. Cathy plays Dr. Santiago, and you may know him from Airheads, SWAT, and House of Cards. He's in a few other things too.
Mhm.
Arlie Ermy plays police captain, and I think we know him as the drill sergeant from Full Metal Jacket, as well as the drill sergeant in Toy Story and the drill sergeant in The Frighteners. So he's got a pretty much a type. And then finally,
And
But that's real
Jack
life.
Black's love interest in Saving Silverman.
also also a drill sergeant.
And oh, he was a football coach,
Oh,
Well,
I
okay.
he
think.
was in real life, he was a drill sergeant. He was a
Yes,
Marine like
yes, he
drill
was.
sergeant. So I'm like, that totally that I get that tracks. If you're gonna be typecast as something, you might as well be fucking amazing at it. So like,
He's definitely good
Well,
at.
he was just a consultant on Full Metal Jacket, and then
mm,
they ended up just hiring him
that's amazing.
because they were like, why let's just put this guy on. So and it worked, and there goes his career. Anyways,
And then the last person I had was Leland Orser as Crazed Man in Massage Parlor. Um, that's his title. That's his name.
that's his name.
Yeah, he's in Taken. He's in Alien Resurrection. He's in The Collector. He was in ER. He's in a whole bunch of stuff.
Hmm.
But he's the guy like he made me do it. That guy. That's
Made
freaking the
me do
fuck
it.
out.
He had a gun in my mouth.
That
Speaking of scenes that I was not looking forward to watching again.
Yeah.
when we pick scenes, let's not just pick our favorite. We got to pick our least favorite too, I think.
Okay.
Lambert, you go first on this one.
Um, I mean, I don't want to pick Kevin Spacey. Like he's the obvious choice,
Yeah.
but aside from him, I'm gonna go Arlie Ermy.
Yeah, he's
I just like him.
he plays the captain great, I think.
Plays the captain great.
You know what? You know what's funny is that I forgot like how much of a nothing like Gwyneth Paltrow's character is like in this movie.
Mhm.
Like I
She's
don't
not. She's just.
I think she works as a fantastic um I'm trying to think of the right term, but she pretty much is that line between him and her sorry, pardon. The line between Mills and Somerset actually having like an outside working relationship. Cause she's like they're both like small town and she like calls Mills at work, Brad Pitt at work, and she talks to Morgan Freeman and invites him over for dinner. And then you know what I'm saying? Like she serves a purpose. It's tiny, but it's not anything like it's like, oh, she really played that role so well. But that's not how in my opinion, that's not what the role serves, that purpose.
yeah.
It's literally just to connect the two characters outside of work in a deeper way.
No, and it can't be mad about it. And actually, I would say that if she's in it more, then you actually might see the ending coming because she is in it. And like, yeah, he's got a baby coming, and they kind of touched on it a little bit, but it's so subtle that I know the first time I saw this, I was not expecting his wife's head to be in the box until
No,
like a few seconds leading up to it, where he's like, John Doe has the upper hand now. I'm like, oh fuck, he killed his wife. That was like the up until that second, I did not see that coming at all. And I think that on maybe a different, director makes her a bigger part because she's a pretty big actress, right? And then all of
So
a sudden, it's like,
to make the twist a little bit bigger, because if she's in it a little bit more, then
yeah,
it stings potentially. Again, you could see it that way. Of like it stings a little bit more if she's a little bit more prominent.
it stings more, but I think you also like it's the obvious setup of like, oh, she's gonna be the one that gets killed, you know,
Exactly. It's
yeah,
especially if
towing
you're like,
that's towing the line.
yeah.
It's
especially if you're
towing the
doing the
line.
math in your head of like which of the seven sins have not been committed yet. You know what I mean? Like you can kind of work that out if she's like more in your face, but But anyway, having said all that, yes, you can't pick Kevin Spacey. That's just too easy, I think. So yeah, I do tend to agree that I think Arlie Ermy, he's really shout out to Leland Orser though, because he looks genuinely like
Yeah.
Terrified.
he's going to be fucked up for the rest of his
He
go.
is going to need a lot of therapy.
Going to be a short life for him. I hate to say it, but he's not going to recover from that. That's fucked.
No.
Alia, what's your pick?
I second that. I second. Well, I think Arlie Ermy is amazing, but I think as far as secondary characters, it's Leland Ozer. Or did I say that right?
Yeah,
Ozer? Okay.
he's coming in hot for sure. Backup singers, we've got Andrew Kevin Walker who plays Dead Man at the first crime scene. Which I put him on there because he's the writer. So I think that's
Yes.
just a little note there.
Yeah.
Mark Boone Jr. plays Greasy FBI Man. These names of characters are just wild. You would know him from Sons of Anarchy. He's one of the members of the Sons of Anarchy. He's also in Batman Begins. He's like the big guy with the big old beard, if you remember him.
Yeah.
Richard Roundtree plays Talbot. I think we all know Richard Roundtree from Shaft.
Shaft.
Richard Schiff plays Mark Swar. You'll know him from The West Wing. He's Toby from The West Wing. Lambert's
Mhm.
never seen The West Wing, but wait, have you?
We're in season 4.
Oh, that's right. You're watching it now. I
We're
knew you
watching
had
it right
it.
now.
Right.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we're in season 4.
Well,
Yeah,
so it's Toby.
that's Toby. Yep.
He's also Man of Steel. Charles S. Dutton. He plays the cop. He is uncredited, but he was in it. And then lastly, John C. McGinley makes an appearance as a SWAT team leader. We know him from Scrubs, Point Break, Wall Street, and also where he also is in the SWAT. Not SWAT, but he's the Alcatraz movie with Sean Connery.
Oh,
The Rock.
The Rock.
Jeez.
Yeah, he's one of them. He's one of the Marines
Yeah, thank you, Ali. Yeah,
under Ed O'Neill.
he plays a
Yeah,
similar
no,
role.
not Ed O'Neill. I can't remember his fucking name. Not Ed O'Neill. That's Married with Children.
Not Ed O'Neill, no.
I hope
Ed.
it's okay that they took the liberty to add his name to the list.
Yeah.
Because when I saw him, I recognized his voice first, actually sort of his name, when they were standing in the never mind. We'll go on.
No, that's great. That's this category is like, who do you see and you go, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Ed
Ed
Yeah.
Harris. Ed Harris. Sorry. I had to get that right.
All right. I'll go first on this one. The one that for me, I was like, that guy, I'm saying Richard Schiff. He was the one that I was like, Toby's in this movie. I like it. Because I like when that dude pops up in things. I'm not saying he's the best of the bunch, but that for me, that was the one that made me go, oh, sweet. I'll let you go next.
John C. McGinley. Yeah.
You could never lose picking John C. McGinley for anything.
I mean, I think it might be obvious because I put him on there, but I was just like, and it'll come up later, so I'll let you know why I felt like I had to put him on there. But yeah, I think, yeah, it was a pleasant surprise.
Lambert.
I second you on Richard Schiff. I actually forgot he was in this.
Mm-hmm.
Where I was like, oh, it's the lawyer. John C. McGinley. Isn't his name They refer to him as California a couple times.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Is that his name?
Well, in the
His
credits,
last name?
in the credits, it's SWAT team leader. I'm sure I mean that. I think all of these characters are given names, but for some reason in the credits, this is what their titles are. I don't know why.
That's weird.
It is weird.
But I will go John C. McGinley as well.
Okay.
I think he was, again, small role, but he played it.
When Dr.
Got
Cox
some range.
when he shows up on screen, you always got to go.
You pay attention.
The John Williams category. This was composed by Howard Shore. This dude's come up in a lot of things, and I don't know why he's not a bigger name, because here are some of his credits. 113 of them. Silence of the Lambs. We already mentioned that movie earlier. Philadelphia. Ed Wood. That Thing You Do. High Fidelity. And then
Amazing.
all of the Lord of the Rings movies.
Seriously, when I looked at the credits like that, my jaw hit the floor. I was like, oh my God. Like he, in my opinion, should be up there with John Williams
He
just
should at
because
least be he should at least be in a conversation of like one of the better composers of our time.
yeah.
He did The Aviator, The Departed. He did a whole bunch of movies like that, and then of course he did the Hobbit movies too, just for good measure. But anyway, it's a lot of stuff that he's done. So Howard Shore, we got to start remembering that name.
Well, yeah, and
Yeah.
it's a combination of not only like obviously the composing for like the Lord of the Rings movies, but then like the arranging.
Yeah.
Like the music that was chosen for The Departed, the music that he had to find for High Fidelity. There were some
Yeah.
obscure
Which was, yeah,
tracks
I
that
loved
fit
that.
perfectly in that movie, and
Yeah.
I love that thing you do. But yeah,
Yeah,
all
I,
around talent for sure.
I do too. That's a great movie.
Mhm.
Scenes to nerd out on. Let me rattle through some. I got 20 on here, and I some of them are very short titles. So the first I have is Somerset and Mills Meet, and it's just kind of like that meet and greet in the, and you got a little bit of voiceover with Somerset. He obviously does that with an as the narrator throughout the movie. Next scene, I just put opening credits, and
Yeah.
I mean, it's a pretty lengthy opening credits, and Fincher is quoted by saying, "You wanted the credits to look like a killer had written them," and I think he did a good job with that.
He succeeded.
Next scene, again, a lot of these are just like the name of the sin. So I wrote down gluttony. Next scene.
Sloth.
Wasn't gluttony the first one?
I thought.
Gluttony's the
Oh
first,
yeah, Gluttony is the first one. You're right.
where the dude's eating himself.
Yeah. And yeah.
I
Then
wrote down the
I
wrong
wrote
thing.
down greed. I know that there's other small scenes there, but I think that the part where they're in the apartment and they're doing like investigating that part, I think is pretty good. And then actually the next scene that like dovetails from that is now that's when they are in the apartment and they're figuring out the pattern. They take the picture and they rotate it and they figure the whole thing out. I wrote down just figuring out the pattern. Then I wrote down at the library
Yeah.
and Somerset's doing the stuff he does. Then I had dinner at the Mills's house.
Mhm.
Um, oh, you know what? And actually, the next part is the upside down painting. There's actually two scenes where they kind of figuring shit out, but upside down painting and the half fingerprint, which then leads them to Sloth.
Yep.
Lunch with Somerset and Tracy is the next scene I had. Then I had another lunch with the informant is like right after that. The chase, where they basically chase John Doe out of his apartment, and then they break into the apartment. That whole part. They go find the homeless person to say that.
One of them happened right over there.
Yeah. All right, that's enough. All right, thanks. Yeah, you're good.
How much cash you got in your pocket?
I wrote down lust. That part is messed up.
I didn't even write that one down.
Well, I gotta write them all. I gotta write all of them. The bar conversation between Somerset and Mills is the kind of the next scene I had. I wrote down pride,
Okay, I wrote that one down.
and I wrote down John Doe turns himself in, which is the only moment of somehow in this twisted movie of kind of like humor and levity. Excuse me. Like he's just like trying to turn himself in. Uh the lawyer meeting and trip out to the desert is the next scene I had. And then I have it, the last two scenes are the envy speech and then Mills becoming Wrath is the last scene I had. Did I
I
forget?
wrote that as what's in the box.
I think it could definitely be that as well, for sure. And that's what it is. I mean, that's envy.
What's in the box?
I hope. I mean, that you can, if you want to group those two together, envy and wrath, you certainly can. So, Alia, what's your favorite scene?
Um, so I have to say it probably might even just be the intro, like the credits, because
Hmm.
it felt so very 90s grunge, and I was like, this feels like a Nine Inch Nails like music video.
It was
Like
Nine
that
Inch
was,
Nails playing.
yeah,
Yeah.
but they not the
Yeah.
entire time.
No. It
They
was just
don't
like it was
like, yeah,
snippets of it.
it's
It was
snippets
snippets
of
of
it, like,
Closer.
and
Yeah.
it was so, and then at the end is when they really started to play that, and I was
Yep.
like, oh shit, okay, well, obviously it's fucking with my head, so it totally got me into that like mind frame, but I loved that.
Yeah.
And
That was
then
perfect though. That was a perfect
totally,
perfect band. for
Totally
that.
perfect. It totally fit. I was like, oh yeah, this is so very 90s. And then grunge might not be the right term, but you know what I'm saying? It felt that like gritty,
Mhm.
darkness. Like it absolutely worked. And then um from there, probably one of my favorite scenes is when they're in his apartment when they break in, because you kind of get to see, and it's strange because as they're walking through, I was like, it's super dark in here, but I kind of like the way that it looks in some ways. I was like, not like the fucking neon like cross, but like
No, that was
was
kind of
it was really fascinating, because like they're like playing with doors, and like my brain is like, go in that door. I want to know what is like back there. You know what I mean? And so I loved that. And then and then the scene, and this will come up later, um, but yeah, once they get to the head in the box scene when they're on that abandoned or the dirt road. So yeah, I thought that was very poignant, and something very funny happened there. So, and that's the next thing we'll talk about.
So which one's your favorite?
It's a scene stealing
No, no, no.
moment.
Which of those three scenes is actually your favorite though?
My favorite, the
Yeah.
intro, because it
Okay.
felt so. I literally went back to the 90s, like in my brain, like I was there.
All right, Lambert.
I do like the apartment scene. That's a good one too. I'm gonna go with my gut. I'm gonna say the car ride
Mm,
because that's the first time that they get to, well, they're sitting down, but they get to have a conversation with him.
Mm.
They get inside his head a little bit. You get to, like, you as the viewer finally get to see like this monster that has been committing all of these heinous murders in very specific ways, and you finally get inside his head a little bit, and you get to understand, like, air quotes, like, understand where he's coming from, which is, you can't, but like you get to hear his point of view and hear his perspective, and you get to see the back and forth between Somerset and him, and obviously between Mills, and the difference between that. Whereas, like, John Doe thinks he's the smartest person in the car, but he might not be because Somerset put him in his place a couple times. It's like
Mm.
it's like, what do you mean? Well, I'm glad you asked. Like, hey, welcome to the conversation. Let me tell you why. So it was great writing, but then it was also just great insight because you've been building towards that moment for so long, and now you finally got to see the interaction between these characters that have been just circling each other the whole movie.
Yeah, that's good. That's some of the best dialogue in the
Yes.
entire movie. Mine is the chase. I just think the way that it's shot and
Hmm.
being able to do it outside while it's raining and like just it's super intense and it's very short, but it's still like I don't know. It's when he doesn't shoot him, that whole
yeah.
part you're like, oh, there's something else going on here. I just think it's so well done. Anyway, that's my favorite. Let's do our least favorite next because that's important to mention. I'll start, and it is without a doubt Sloth. Like when they go into that room and then he wakes up and he's emaciated and basically dead, and then he wakes up and I just like picturing that dude like will keep me
He's
up at
alive. He's alive.
just gasping, and you're like, oh my God, I can't look at that right now. So Lambert, what's your least favorite?
My least favorite, we touched on him. Alia chose him as her other four. It's Leland Orser.
Okay, so
It's
Lust. Yeah.
it's Lust. That is the scene that I do not look forward to seeing.
I'm just glad they didn't show us more of it. Like
I
they
Yeah.
am eternally
Yeah.
grateful that they did not
Yeah.
show us more. They showed you enough. It's
yeah.
like, but again, like, he sold it. He played it really well. Like, his reaction told you everything you needed to know about what had just happened. And you see the picture of what they built, and then you start picturing in your head, and then he starts describing it, and you're just like,
Yeah.
nope,
Yeah.
nope.
It's fucking crazy. Ali, what's your least favorite?
I have to agree that it's also sloth because it's pretty disgusting because you're about to see something just heinous because he's covered, and like they have all the trees,
Yeah.
in the apartment
the taxi
and
cab.
yeah, yeah,
Yep,
the air
the
fresheners,
air
like yeah,
fresheners.
I
Yep.
think that one, yeah, because it freaks you out. It really freaks you out. Yeah, pretty gross. And yeah, it's so well done.
It is. The Heath Ledger Award for scene stealing. I only wrote down one name, but I know Alia, you want to talk about you got something to share here. So I'll just say my name real quick and then you can get into it. I just wrote down Arlie Ernie and I think that he's or Arlie Ermy. Um when he's on screen with Morgan Freeman and Brad Pitt, I'm looking at him.
Yeah,
And that's why I wrote him down as a scene stealer. I think that he's stealing the scenes from the main characters.
he
It's really
commands the room. Yep.
yeah. So that's my pick. Alia, what do you got?
So I couldn't really come up with anything other than like Brad Pitt's face. I came up with more than that. Like obviously he's so good looking. He doesn't really steal scenes, but like it's just like, oh yeah, like you're just kind of like listening to him. But that's like the female gaze.
No, no,
Second,
I get it. I get lost in his eyes too. He's a good looking dude.
rightfully so.
Yeah.
Like rightfully so.
I can
Okay, so
appreciate beauty. It doesn't matter the
I've
gender.
got I love that. Thank you. It makes me proud to be your friend to hear
Yeah.
that. Thank
Yeah.
you. Um, I've got two. They're both kind of silly, but one of them is of in the sloth scene when the SWAT team leader John C. McGinley busts through the door. The first thing he says is, "Good morning, sunshine." And like it made me laugh out loud. And then he goes on to say something else, and I wish I'd actually typed it because I couldn't remember what else he
Says,
said.
"Get up, you sack of shit."
That okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And so, but it wasn't until I heard him say "Good morning, sunshine" that my brain clicked, and I was like, "Holy fucking shit, that's dude from Scrubs." Because I'm almost positive he walks into rooms and says that all the time in that show. So
He has the presence that he has in The Rock and
yeah,
the wise ass sarcastic whatever of Scrubs. It's almost like you can see the evolution of his acting uh
yeah.
on display in
Yep.
that like super short scene for sure.
Yeah, yeah. It's super short. I love that. So the second one I have is a little bit. It's 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 a little off the wall, but just hang on for a second. So in between before the greed scene, they go to a newspaper stand outside, and I will explain later. There's more detail to this. I paused the movie in order to read the newspapers on the newspaper stand. I'll explain later why. But on the newspaper stand, they talk about like an uptown lawyer being killed, yada, yada, yada. But there are side stories on the newspaper that I found fucking hilarious. And the two that I thought were the best were so it says high profile attorney murdered in the headline, but the other stories are for the National Probe, housekeeper held hostage by child's possessed gerbil, 3 days of terror. and then and then the other one was neighbor's beagle scares teen, cures 8-year bout of hiccups. So I was like, I just love little silly details like that. It's like, National Enquirer kind of shit.
No, I think
Yep.
it's clever they took the time to do all of that, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
You don't need to
Yeah,
do all the production design and everything else. You could easily not have that in.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Lambert, you got a nominee?
No, I like yours. I like.
Alia, we usually don't agree like this. I think we've agreed on every category. We usually, but despite us having, as Jana says sometimes, a hive mind, we actually usually do not agree on a lot of these things.
Mm.
We do disagree
Tonight,
frequently, which is
tonight,
fine.
tonight, where we're ganging up on you. Sorry.
All right,
Fine by me. I don't care. I
cheers.
don't mind.
Cheers.
I'm not at all like, I don't have any qualms with being the odd person out.
Okay. All right.
I promise you.
I
Good.
mean, you could like you can say Kevin Spacey, but that feels a little bit like a cop out.
Yeah, no, he can't be the nominee for that. I don't think it's got to be somebody else. It's got to be, and
I
now
agree. I agree.
unless you're like, man, Brad Pitt or Morgan Freeman like dominates the other person, which is not really the case. I mean, you've got the straight man, which is Morgan Freeman, and you've got the wild card sort of with Brad Pitt, and then Spacey's the crazy person, and then I really do think that the captain is like, but he's playing that prototypical like captain role, like the
Right,
loudest guy in the room, like cliche that you see in like
right.
Lethal Weapon or whatever,
Yeah.
or
Shut up.
right. But he does it so well, and I'm like locked in on whenever he's talking. I'm like, you can say whatever you want, sir, and I will do it. Dante's Peak. Let's go through some nominees and see if we can figure out what's the peak of their career. Brad Pitt is first. I got a long list here. We've mentioned a lot of these already, and I'm just going to go ahead and rattle them off super quick, okay? So his first thing on screen is Thelma and Louise. It's in 91. I put a couple of these on here because I forgot that he was in them, and whether I like them or I don't like them, they're worth mentioning. Cool World, 92. A River
Yes.
Runs Through It, 92. California with a K, 93. True Romance, 93. Interviewed the Vampire, 94. I don't care what people say. I read all the books. He plays a good Louis. I'm just gonna, for the record. Seven is in this. This is Seven, obviously 95. 12 Monkeys is also 95. Sleepers, where he kind of plays a supporting role,
Mm.
96.
Sleepers is fucked up.
Another movie
Yeah.
that I should have put that in that category of movies, not where say where the bad guys win, kind of, but that's
Depends
just
on your definition of who
Well,
the
I mean,
bad guys are.
yeah.
he gets the priest gets away with it. So yeah, the bad guy kind of wins and fucks up all those men for the rest of their lives. So
But like realism type films. This was again
right,
right there
right,
in
right,
the
right.
heart of it.
Yep.
Devil's Own 97, Meet Joe Black 98, Fight Club 99, Snatch 2000, Ocean's 11 2001, Troy is in 2004, Mr. and Mrs. Smith 2005, and I got to put Benjamin Button on there for 2008 because he was nominated for an Oscar for it. And then I wrote down enters producing and Tarantino phase of career. Um, and of course,
Yeah.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, he
Inglorious Bastards.
Inglorious Bastards. Once Upon a Time, he won. Did he win the Oscar for that? Pretty sure he won Best Supporting. Yeah, Best Supporting Actor for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So like, you know, it can't be his peak, but it's worth mentioning. Like, he won a fucking Academy Award for a
Right.
really good movie. Uh, I didn't say Moneyball. I'm sorry, Moneyball in 2012. That's a pretty big deal too. He was nominated for, but again, like he's producing a lot of these films. 12 Years a Slave. He's in that movie. He wins Best Picture with that, but because he's the producer of it, not because he's the support and like a minor supporting actor role. So, um, and he gets nominated for Best Picture of the Year when he produced The Big Short too. So like he started getting into
That's
other
like, and he's
aspects.
in that one too.
He's in that one too, right?
Small role, but he's in that one too. Love that movie.
For
Great
sure.
movie.
Okay, so having said all of these things, what do we think his acting peak is? Lambert, you want to go first?
I mean, you gotta go late 90s, early 2000.
I mean, I'll just say it's Ocean. I mean, well, I think it's Ocean's 11, honestly.
Well, because it's the combination of those three things. It's a combination of Fight Club, Snatch, and Ocean's 11.
I think we've litigated this before, and
We have litigated this
we may have
before.
said it was Ocean's 11 or Fight Club, but we said it was like that
Because
two
Ocean's
years.
11 is certainly his commercial peak, but it's that time frame because like you think about those three movies and it's Fight Club, which is obviously another David Fincher film, and then Snatch, where like Guy Ritchie was quoted of saying like it was really hard trying to make someone that good looking look that bad. Like he actively tried to look that bad, and like you can't understand a word he's saying. And then it's Ocean's 11, which is Ocean's 11. So like just those three movies are so different, but yeah, I'd
Ali,
say it's
Ali, do
it's
you have
that time
any?
frame.
Do you have
Peak.
any? You have an
All
opinion there?
right. So I because F1 has just come out, they were doing like all this stuff talking about how he has had blockbuster after blockbuster in each decade of his career,
Hmm.
right? So like he's just been so super consistent. I would have to say that it's the 90s that because he's had such a huge arc. I mean, like meteoric rise. That was to me like where he really did start to peak. And then that lasted for a very long time because he was in like Legends of the Fall and then Seven and then Meet Joe Black and then Fight Club, which is end of the 90s, and then but then he becomes like super fucking stardom once you get into like Ocean's 11. So I guess if you want to talk about peak, maybe that is when he starts to peak, but this is when I think he starts to crest that.
I mean, yeah, I do agree with you. I think it's what's interesting though is that we didn't even think about Troy because Troy is actually his second, it's his third highest grossing film, but
Mm-hmm.
he's in Deadpool 2, and that's his number one. That doesn't really count. He's in it for like one photograph when he dies and the gets electrocuted. Uh,
So awesome. Have you heard the story around that?
Yes.
which part? What part of it?
Of why he was in there?
Oh no.
So his stunt man was a director.
Oh,
So that was like the guy who directed was his stuntman for a while, and then they called him up and it was like, "Would you do this?" And he was like, "Sure, why not?"
it's awesome. I mean, I like him
See,
and I like
I heard a different story.
Really?
I thought so there was something where Ryan Reynolds had said, I can get Brad Pitt to be in the movie as well, because they needed more headliners. And
Oh, I think I
so,
heard that. I think I heard that story too.
so
you know
I
he
what
think I
was
though?
heard that
saying,
too.
yeah, I
They're
can
both
get Brad
technically
Pitt
true,
to star in
probably.
it
Yeah.
too. But it
Yeah.
was like, like that. So, but I bet both are true. I would
Both are
bet
probably,
that
yeah.
somehow both are true.
Yeah.
But I like people like that. Like I think of Matt Damon as like the classic case of someone who will just be in movies. Like, yeah, I'll be a rock singer that sleeps with the main character's wife and sings a
God,
song
it's
called Sky
so
Doesn't Know
great.
Fuck yes.
Euro trip. Scotty
That's
doesn't know.
probably the
why
my
not?
favorite thing he's in.
What the
That's
fuck else
probably
am I
one of my
doing?
favorite things he's in.
I love it.
Road
I
Well,
trip,
love it.
hell yeah.
so Brad Pitt's second highest grossing movie, which is actually his highest grossing movie, we're taking Deadpool out of it, is World War Z, and that's in 2013. Um, but anyway, in Mr. and Mrs. Smith, 2005. But then we got Ocean's 11 or whatever. So yeah, I think the 90s is what makes him a movie star, and I think that it all kind of culminates in 2001 with Ocean's 11. It was like he is the biggest star, and I actually kind of think that that's a moment of George Clooney. Basically, I don't want to say pass the torch, but Brad Pitt, you're the guy now. I mean,
Yeah,
he kind of
yeah.
is. So Morgan Freeman, I, I want you to guess how many credits you think Morgan Freeman has. I'll give you a line. Over under 145.
Under.
Under.
He has 150 credits.
Damn
God
it.
damn.
Um,
I knew that it was up there, but I didn't think it was under by a lot.
I mean, 150 credits is a lot of fucking
Yeah.
credits. So, Lean on Me 89, Driving Miss Daisy 89, Glory 89. Fucking right out the gate, man.
Right out of the
I
gate.
mean that is a crazy like murderer's row of movies in fucking 1 year. Then he does Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves in 91, which I don't care what anybody says. I know Kevin Costner's accent is the worst. I thoroughly enjoy that movie a lot.
It's one of
And
my very
everybody
favorites, and
shits on the
that's where
song.
my head goes for him, for Morgan Freeman at least. Like memorable. That's yeah.
They're shitting on Brian Adams? How dare they?
Yes, everybody should. Yes, they are going to do that. That's what.
Um,
Yeah.
Unforgiven 92, Shawshank 94, Outbreak 95, this is a 95, Kiss the Girls is 97, Amistad's 97, Long Came a Spider 2001, Bruce Almighty 2003, Million Dollar Baby 04, Batman Begins 05, and then Dark Knight 05, Invictus 09, and then Red, just for my dad, I put on there for 2010.
That's a good movie. I like that. I enjoyed Red.
Now, before I ask what you think the peaks are, I think it's worth mentioning his awards. So He was nominated for supporting actor. Again, I already said that for Street Smart in 98 or in 88. Nominated for an Oscar for Best Leading Role for Driving Miss Daisy. Nominated for an Oscar for Best Leading Role for Shawshank. So he's got three Oscar nominees in his first like freaking 6 years or 7 years of acting, like on the big screen.
That's incredible.
He wins the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor for Million Dollar Baby in '05. And he's also nominated for Best Actor for Invictus in 2010. Who went first last time? Lambert,
Me.
Alia, you go first on this one.
I would say 90s.
No, you gotta no, you no. I let you do it for the
Oh,
first person. You gotta pick a movie.
I have to pick a movie. For me, it's Robin Hood.
That's the peak for him, for Morgan Freeman.
No.
That's not the peak.
No,
That could be your favorite.
Morgan
That's not
Freeman
the
would
peak.
be would be
All right, I'll just say mine. I think it's. I actually think it is this. Now, I think you can say Million Dollar Baby because he won an Academy Award for it.
yeah.
But I think as
That
far
was
as, and I'm not going to say the whole 90s, but I think 94 and 95, he does this Outbreak and Shawshank. That's a big 18 months or 24 months. So I think, and it culminates with this movie. So I actually think this is pretty, again, I don't think it's his peak because I think you actually could probably say like Bruce Almighty might be the peak for when people know him the best and
yeah,
Million Dollar
he
Baby.
played God.
And then he also plays Lucius Fox in the Batman films with the Nolan Batman movie. So like that might be when people actually know him the best. But I think as far as peak of his powers, I think it's mid 90s.
Yeah. That I second that.
Lambert, what do you think?
Shawshank.
Yeah, I mean that's you can't argue about Shawshank, you know.
Nope.
All right, Kevin Spacey. He does Working Girl in 98, Glengarry Glenn Ross in 92, The Ref in 94, which I don't that's one of my favorite comedies.
Same.
I'll die on that hill saying I think it's the best Thanksgiving movie that exists, frankly.
Yeah, I always thought it was a Christmas movie.
Isn't it Thanksgiving?
I thought it was Thanksgiving. I think we've talked about this
You,
before. I'm pretty sure it's Thanksgiving.
I
I'm
would bet, I would bet that both of you were right, but
okay.
in my head, it was, for some reason, I placed it as
Well,
Christmas.
because he's
Because their
talking,
kid comes home.
but he's
Their
talking
kid,
about what gift he's going to get her for Christmas, and because
okay.
but I know I could totally fight. It actually might be Christmas. I'm thinking about it more. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Let's move on. This is in 95. Outbreak also in 95 with Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
Uh, um, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, they're both in 95. Time to Kill is in 96. LA Confidential 97. Negotiators 98. American Beauty 99. Pay It Forward is in 2000. He plays Lex Luthor in Superman Returns in '06. Horrible Bosses in 2011. And then House of Cards from 2013 to 17. That's basically when his career essentially has stopped. He's been in a couple things recently, I think. Um, anyway, but I will start this time. Do you want to add something, Lambert?
Yeah, the ref, the IMDb description, a cat burglar is forced to take a bickering, dysfunctional family hostage on Christmas Eve. It
Okay.
is a Christmas movie. I
Christmas.
was wrong. We were all wrong. Ali's right.
Thanks, Ali. Good job.
First time
Uh,
tonight. Woo!
so I will start. I think it's American Beauty. I think that's the peak of Kevin Spacey. I think he's not necessarily like the awards he's won or been nominated for. I mean, he won. I didn't even say. I should have said Usual Suspects is also in '95. I skipped that. And that's when he wins Best Supporting Actor. So like that's definitely when he's getting the highest accolades. But I would say that's a springboard. But American Beauty, that was. I mean, he's nominated and
He's the man.
he's the man. It wins Best Picture.
You're talking about ensemble cast. Like he's barely in this movie. Usual Suspects is very ensemble, whereas like for American Beauty, like it's him. The movie's about him.
These are all every movie I named. He's part of the cast, but that is the movie where he is the main guy.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right, Alia.
Yeah, I think I would have to say American Beauty. At first I was thinking maybe it should be House of Cards because he really, I mean,
It's really good in
really,
that. The first two
really,
seasons of that
he
are
was like
amazing.
unstoppable, really, truly.
Hmm.
And then shit hit the fucking fan.
I think
Yeah.
no, no, I think that's actually a really good point. It would depend on who you ask. So if you ask people our age, we remember all the movies in the 90s, right? And so I think
Yeah.
we'd say American Beauty, but American Beauty is a movie that's been maybe purposefully lost to history. And
Well, I mean, if you think about having been a main character, like lusting over a teenage girl, because like the ugliness of the movie just in
His
general, I think,
lusting over his daughter's friend.
yeah.
yeah.
And what I
Mm.
mean is that like people don't talk about that movie. That's not a movie. If they talk about it, it's like can you guys
Like,
believe this
Yeah, I
was
won
such a
awards.
big
Okay,
deal?
next.
Right.
yeah,
Can't believe everyone thought this was so great. But House of Cards, though, and this
for
is like
real.
this is that's like Netflix's like
Yes,
flagship show. Like
yes.
when it's getting off and going. So I think globally, I think House of Cards is when people know.
Yeah, I think that's for me, I would say that's peak for him.
Yeah. David Fincher is my next nominee. We have actually already litigated this before when we talked during the Fight Club episode, but I wanted to get Alia's opinion with this. So we already mentioned all of the music videos. One other music video that was not mentioned that I put on this list came out in 1987. Patrick Swayze's
Oh,
She's Like the Wind.
oh,
Yes,
I saw that one. Yeah, I
yes,
saw that one on the list.
yes.
Just keep getting more. Every time I go to another Fincher category I wrote about, I got more information. Um, Alien 3 is in 92. This is in 95. The Game is in 97. Fight Club's in 99. Zodiac is in 07. Social Network is in 2010. Girl with the Dragon Tattoo is in 11. Gone Girl's in 14. Mindhunter in 2017 and 2019. And The Killer is in 2023. So, I think it's your turn. What do you think? Well, not it's not your turn. We already discussed this before. We are curious. What do you think the peak of David Fincher is? Again, no wrong answer. But like, what's your opinion? I think there's actually three right answers.
Um,
I think it's either this Fight Club or Social Network.
I
Personally,
was, I would, I, so for me, it feels like Fight Club for me, because Social Network is wonderful, but I do not associate him with Social Network. That's not the first thing that comes to mind for me. It's
yeah.
definitely
That's
Fight
true.
Club.
Yep.
I think we may have said it was either Social Network if you're a Oscar guy, but if you're not, it's Fight Club.
Yeah,
That's what everyone knows for sure.
yeah.
And that's like people think, like you just said, like what is a prototypical Fincher thing?
Like quintessential. Yeah, absolutely.
Last peak I have is serial killer movies, and there are a lot, but I kind of took the major ones, and I've got Psycho that comes out in 1960, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre is in 74, Taxi Driver 76, Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer is in 86, which stars Michael Rooker, in case you guys didn't know that. Silence of the Lambs is in 91. This is in 95. Then American Psycho is in 2000. Lambert, what do you think is the peak of serial killer on the big screen?
Based on that list, American Psycho.
Well, based on it, I mean, based in, it doesn't have to be on my list, based on any
No,
list.
I mean that would. Um, I mean it's hard not to say American Psycho, honestly.
Yeah. I think it's Silence of the Lambs, actually.
That's a good one too.
I think that's when it was like, this is what people want to see this. And let's, like, that's the,
Now, Silence of the Lambs because of Hannibal Lecter, or Silence of the Lambs because of Buffalo Bill? Or yes.
I don't think there needs to be a distinction. I think that
Okay.
Buffalo Bill is the villain in that movie, and somehow the worst serial killer is actually the protagonist, sort of. You're rooting when he gets out, you're like, oh yes, go eat that doctor. You know what I mean? Like that's what you're
Right,
thinking. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, yeah, fuck that guy.
right.
I'm gonna go have a friend for dinner. Yeah, you should. Um, so that would be my vote. Alia, what's yours?
All right. I'm gonna skew your readings, or not readings, but the way that you're doing it. For me, it is So I Married an Axe Murderer.
Oh, fuck yeah, good. I love it. That's great. Is that 95, I think?
I think so. Early 90s.
I'm pretty
So
sure
I
it's
Married an Axe
95.
Murderer.
So
Yeah.
let's just, I think that's a great, I mean, this and that in the same year, that's a pretty good year.
It's a pretty good year for serial killers,
I
Yeah.
love it. I no,
I
Very.
guess.
I kind of forgot about that movie. I was thinking like serious ones, and that movie is great. I just mentioned Jana just the other day was like, I need to watch. How have I not seen that movie? I'm like, I don't know. You're dumb. You need to watch it immediately
She
because
hasn't seen it
I
ever, or just needs to
I
see it again.
hasn't seen it ever.
Well,
oh my God. Well,
I can't talk. There's a ton of stuff I haven't seen.
I made my siblings watch it with me when they were probably way too young to watch it because they loved the movie Shrek. And I was like, no, no.
Mm-mm.
Mike Mike Myers did the voice, that Scottish accent, like whatever it is, way before then, and this is where he got it. And then when they were older to watch it, I made them watch it.
Hmm.
And yeah, so it's still good. It still holds up. It's so good. And Joe, oh God, the guy who plays the detective with him, his
Oh,
friend,
yeah.
funnier than shit.
What did I just see him in? This is
I
not good.
can't remember his Italian last name. Um,
No,
yeah,
the police captain's the best part of that movie, but
yeah, he's like, get in here. He's like, oh, did I get?
Anthony LaPaglia
Thank you.
is
I
is
wanted
the
to say La Piglia, and I knew it was wrong.
and I
yeah.
just watched Empire Records like 2 nights ago, and he's in that. Yeah.
Yes,
Uh,
he is.
Yes, he is. Joe. His name is Joe in that. I think that's why I called him Joe now.
yeah, it might be. All right. But anyway, okay. I think that's good. All right. Quoth the Raven. So at this part, we can go take turns with our favorite quotes if you want to share them. So I will start, and it's probably a cop out because it is like the first quote of the movie, I think, where it says Somerset says Ernest Hemingway once wrote, "The world is a fine place and worth fighting for." I agree with the second part.
That's the end of the movie.
That's the end. Okay, I knew it was one at the beginning of it. All right, that's the end of the movie.
That's the end of the movie.
All right, Lambert, you go next.
Um, this is kind of so this is I think this might be at the first scene where it's like where the doctor lifts his head up as like he's dead. He said he's dead, and Somerset says, "Thank you, doctor."
All right, Alia.
So mine is at the dirt road scene, and John Doe and Somerset and Mills get out of the car, and there's the dead dog, and goes, I didn't do that.
I didn't do that.
I didn't do that.
Uh, there's a lot of John Doe quotes. Wanting people to listen, you can't just tap them on the shoulder anymore. You have to hit them with a sledgehammer, and then you'll notice. Then you'll notice you've got their strict attention.
Um, again, I kind of do mine in order. Ladies and gentlemen, we have ourselves a homicide.
Mhm.
And back to John C. McGinley, Good Morning Sunshine.
I'm gonna try and say this like Brad Pitt. I'm gonna butcher it though. You're no Messiah. You're a movie of the week. You're a fucking t-shirt at best.
Yeah.
So I'll add on to that. Well, it's a different scene, but I'll try to channel my inner Brad Pitt. He's a nutbag, and just because the
Yeah.
fucker's got a library card doesn't make him Yoda.
Yeah, that's good.
And then yeah. How much money you got?
Yeah.
Any more, Ollie, for you? All right, we got
No, none for
I
me.
got a few more.
I got a couple.
I've been trying to figure something out in my head. Maybe you can help me out. Yeah. When a person is insane, as you clearly are, do you know that you're insane? Maybe you're just sitting around reading Guns and Ammo and masturbating your own feces. Do you stop and go, "Wow, it is amazing how fucking crazy I really am." Yeah? Do you guys do that?
And this is Arlie Ermy. Don't even get that big brain of yours cooking on this, all right?
I'm gonna do one of his quotes too. Picks up the phone. This is not even my desk. And he
I love that.
hangs up the
That's
phone.
so good. That is so good. He's experienced about as much pain and suffering as anyone I've ever encountered, give or take, and he still has hell to look forward to.
Let's see. Come on, he's insane. Look, right now he's probably dancing around in his grandma's panties. Yeah, rubbing himself in peanut butter. Uh,
If we catch John Doe and he turns out to be the devil, I mean Satan himself, that might live up to our expectations, but he's not the devil. He's just a man.
hmm. I almost don't want to say any more because that's a good way to wrap it up, but I'm gonna take up more. Um, so speaking of the journals, I wish they could have kept reading. You can't keep doing it, but like reading more passages is just so super fascinating. He's reading John Joe's journal. On the subway today, a man came up to me, started a conversation. He made small talk, a lonely man, talking about the weather and other things. I tried to be pleasant and accommodating, but my head hurt from his banality. I almost didn't notice it had happened, but I suddenly threw up all over him. He was not pleased, and I couldn't stop laughing.
Yeah.
That's so fucking twisted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any more?
I mean, there's like we probably don't need to say it, but like again, good dialogue, excellent writing. It's that cab scene, it's John's whole speech.
Yeah.
Innocent? Is that supposed to be funny? And then he just goes into every single one of his murders and essentially giving you a little bit of insight of like why he thinks like they had it coming. They deserved it, so to speak. So just
Well,
that all that
yeah, and the back and forth too with him and Mills, and we would have gotten you eventually. Oh, really? So what were you gonna do? What were you doing? Biding your time, toying with me, allowing five innocent people to die until you felt like springing your trap? Tell me, what was the indisputable evidence you were going to use on me right before I walked up to you and put my hands in the air?
right. Exactly. Exactly.
I got one to wrap it up. What's in the box?
I mean, and Somerset also has another one, and it's towards the beginning of the movie, and he says this isn't going to have a happy ending.
You're canceled. I don't have anything I'd get rid of in this movie, honestly. I was really trying to think about it, and I had nothing that I thought.
I don't think so either. I don't think so.
I
Well, actually going back,
I
like,
had
go ahead.
no, I'm sorry. I was talking over you.
No, I was going to say we never picked our favorite quote
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so
because we went through them all, but like, what do we think is our favorite?
I mean, it's what's in the box is the
What's in the
thing.
box?
That is the most memorable quote from this movie, bar none,
The one
hands
I
down.
laughed the hardest at was, which is, this is not even my desk. He just hands.
That's a
That's
good.
fucking
That's
hilarious.
a great one.
That made
That
me
is a
laugh.
great one.
But
That
That is,
really
what's
made me
and
laugh.
Ali, you touched on it too. Like, again, just that little twinge of humor is like, what is
Yeah.
it?
No,
Dead dog.
I
I
take
didn't
it
do
back.
that.
I take it back. That he's like, I didn't do that.
I didn't do
Like
that.
that, yeah. That was my favorite because it fucking made me laugh. Like, and
yeah.
it's so dark. You know shit is about to hit the fan. Like
Right.
even like you don't know what if you haven't watched it, but if you don't, you don't know what's coming. Like it's gonna be bad.
Right.
But
Yeah.
what's in the box is the most iconic.
Yeah.
That's the quote. That's the quote. All right. You're
So
canceled.
you're canceled. Again, I couldn't think of anything to get rid of in this movie. I really was trying to think like what's not appropriate or what
I'll
will they take out in the remake. I didn't have
I'll
anything.
I'll tell you what I think I maybe I would change is that with the lust scene, I don't exactly understand why it was the prostitute that had to die, but the guy who was drawn into lust, because like I don't know, I
Mm.
not
Could have been
No,
either.
you know what I'm saying? Like it
no.
should have been both.
Well,
There you go, even
it would
better.
have
If
Yep.
I'm
been
gonna be wrathful as fuck, let's just like, or not wrath, that's not wrath, but you know what I'm saying? If I'm dealing out fucking death sentences, I'm
If
gonna kill
you're
you both.
yeah,
You both
if
gotta
you're
go.
dealing out a death sentence for one of the seven deadly sins, like then
Chick's trying to
they're
make
both
money.
guilty, is
Dude
your
is
point.
lustful.
well,
Right. They're
so
both guilty.
well,
Yeah,
let me
Yeah.
just play devil's advocate because I first of all, personally, I agree with you. I think if you are a sex worker, like what, fine. I don't judge you. That's totally okay. But if you're taking this from a perspective of someone who is a Christian, and unfortunately, certain Christians believe that prostitutes are or sex workers are like the worst people in the world, and he would think that she's the one that's got to go,
right,
not the white dude who
right,
wanders in there
right,
to have the sex. No, no, he's just sinning. She is the
right,
sinner, right? And so
right.
I understand that why she'd be the one that he would think that needs to go, but in
There were certain things like when when you like read about it, they talk about certain not like yes, I see. They should have both died, in my opinion. Like,
yeah,
I think that that's the only thing I would have course corrected, but
yeah.
I don't think I would have changed anything. I don't think anything is should be canceled in it. It's very, yeah, it's a very, it's all based off of sin, the the seven deadliest sins, seven deadly sins. So yeah,
Another Spider-Man again. Let's recast a couple of these people. So I only put down four people to recast. I don't know if you guys wanted to add more on, but I had Tracy, Somerset, Mills, and John Doe.
yeah.
So Tracy, Gwyneth Paltrow was 23 when this movie came out. Didn't realize she was that young, but 23.
Me neither.
I only have one person. I'll go first on this one. I only had one person on there. I don't know why. Like I actually wrote it down, and then Janet goes, "It would be really good," and she said this exact name. I said Elle Fanning.
It's the first name I wrote down.
I
Now I
did
have two
too.
others. I have two others, but that's the first name I wrote down.
I did too, because she's wholesome and
Oh yeah.
sweet and kind of
You
like she
you
fits
gotta
that
find
part.
you gotta find someone with that look.
That's
With
fucking crazy.
with that look that's gonna again support the twist
Sell
that
it.
you know is gonna come at the end. For sure.
That's fucking
Well,
crazy.
so if you want to, John or Ollie, if you guys have more nominees, that's fine. But we're gonna pick out Elle Fanning, I would imagine. Lambert, who
That
else?
was the only girl.
I also wrote down Daphne Keene and Hunter Schafer.
Yeah, I think
Just because
Hunter.
I wanted to write more than one name down.
Okay, Hunter Schafer would be better. Daphne Keene, I don't buy her as super innocent.
But
Yeah,
it's Elle Fanning.
Elle Fanning. Okay,
It's Elle Fanning. Sorry.
Somerset. So Morgan Freeman was 58. 58. I just want to say that again. He was 58. Uh, so I found some actors in their 50s.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go first. I went first last time. So Lambert, you get to go first on this one.
I mean, the obvious answer, because I do this all the time, the first name I'm going to say is Brad Pitt.
I said to Jana, I guarantee you Lambert is going to put Brad Pitt in the Somerset
No,
role.
I don't think
Guarantee
I will
it.
say his name and I will not say that he is the best name that I wrote down or anything like that. So like, but he fits the age description. Whatever, it's
Yeah, he
fine.
does. He does.
Um, Probably the one that I like them. I wrote down, including Brad Pitt. I wrote down five names,
Okay.
but probably the one that I like the most is Mahershala Ali.
That's good.
Oh,
I played with race a little bit here. I kind of flip-flopped a couple.
I wasn't so one of the other names that I really liked again in playing with race was Josh Brolin.
Mm,
ooh,
yeah.
yeah, I like that.
So I also, besides Mahershala, I had him on my list too, by the way. I also had Digimon Hansu. I think
Mm.
he
Okay,
could
I
play it
like
pretty
that.
well. My favorite though is well, I also had Clive Owen. So if we're gonna maybe switch the races a little bit, I think
Yep.
he'd be a good old veteran guy. But my favorite is actually Jeffrey Wright.
I wrote down Jeffrey Wright,
Yeah, I think he'd
but
be
I
good.
also I had
I think
another
you
one that
may.
I had
Okay,
two.
I like it.
The second that I wrote down only because he was supposed to be in the movie originally. I know you guys are going to talk about it later, but I think Denzel Washington would
Denzel.
have also nailed it.
Yeah.
Nailed it. So I have Jeffrey Wright and Denzel Washington.
I think Denzel will be. I think he's actually older. He's in his like
He
70s.
is, yeah. I think that he can, because I was in my mind, I was trying to carry on, like, I wasn't trying to think outside of the box too much. I was trying to keep it the way that it is, and people who are in the industry at this point in time in their career being able to carry on what similarly was carried out with this
Yeah.
would be Jeffrey Wright or Denzel Washington. So that
Mm.
I didn't think too far outside the box. I was literally just trying to replace people with, I think, good substitutes or whatever you'd want to say.
Yeah, I think I would go Jeffrey Wright.
I think it's Jeffrey Wright.
Yeah.
All right, Mills. So Brad Pitt was 32. Alia, you go first.
Aaron Taylor Johnson.
I do like Aaron Taylor Johnson a lot. Yeah, he's good.
He, if you pay attention to the way Brad Pitt plays the character, and I think maybe we talk about this a little later, is that like he's really kind of like cocky and like he's really like not cocky, but he's like eager
He's confident.
and
Yep.
really mouthy, kind of like just wanting to go after everything. And I think that he would portray that role really well.
I think he'd be good there. I'll add a few more wise ass cocky guys. I think Michael B. Jordan would be really good in this role.
Oh,
I
yes.
wrote him
Yes.
down.
Yeah, I think he'd be great. I also think that Miles Teller would be really good in this role,
Oh,
and I think Joe Keery would be really good in this role as well.
oh,
I
I
thought about
like it.
Joe Keery too. Yep.
I also have Dave Franco, which I just like Dave Franco. So
I
you put
do too.
Dave Franco in.
Actually, I wanted to write him down,
Yep.
but for some reason I only picked one for him.
I
So
think it's important though, like, so I want to hear Lambert's nominees first, but then after that, I think it's important to discuss you have to have both people that can work together, right? So if you've got Jeffrey Wright, not everyone is going to fill in that well with him. So like perhaps we make an amendment based on who we decide to pick for
Yep.
Mill.
It's definitely a pair.
They
Like
got to
you
be
got to make sure you got to
yeah,
make sure you pick the right
yeah,
pair.
yeah.
yeah.
Um, the only other name that I wrote down because like we've said like we've used Miles Teller, we've used so I tried to like I tried to like let's find someone new. I wrote down Josh Hutcherson
Oh,
Oh,
he's good.
from the Hunger Games.
Yeah,
yeah.
he's a little guy.
So and I wrote down Michael
Well,
B.
so is
Jordan
Jeffrey
because
Wright.
again,
Yeah.
flipping everything around would be fine. And even with Jeffrey Wright, you could still do Michael B. Jordan. That's still okay.
Yeah.
I'm just I'm just throwing that out there. Like, but yeah,
I think actually Jeffrey Wright and Josh Hutcherson actually would be pretty good.
Yeah.
I think Aaron Taylor Johnson would be really good with him too. They're both kind of
yes.
smaller people. I think if you did though Michael B. Jordan, I think him and Clive Owen would go really well together
Ooh.
personally.
Yep.
Um, all right, so I think our favorite was Jeffrey Wright of all the. So I guess we should match.
Somerset was Jeffrey Wright. That was definitely our
So we
favorite
should
for
Yeah.
match
sure.
somebody with Jeffrey Wright. So I think who'd you say who was the last person you said, Lambert?
Josh Hutcherson.
Josh Hutcherson. I think Josh Hutcherson would be good with Jeffrey Wright.
All right.
I also think Grant Gustin. I had Grant Gustin on there too. Do you guys know who Grant Gustin is?
I do
No.
not.
He plays the Flash in the TV show The Flash, and he's in a bunch of other things too.
Oh, yeah.
But
Okay.
I think he'd be good. You need someone that's a real fucking kind of like more confident than he should be. Um, and also maybe very good looking. That's why I think Joe Keery could be good there too. Anyway, all right. Josh Hutcherson, that's good. John Doe. So Kevin Spacey was 35. Um, Jana, I'll go first. Jana, right out the gate, like before we even watched this movie, she was already thinking of recasts for me, and the first thing she said was Taron Egerton, first person she said,
Oh, okay.
um, because she thinks that he's a good-looking dude, but can play like a lot of different layers to a character. I know that I associate him way too much with Kingsman. It's kind of hard to
It's hard not to. I
disassociate
mean,
there.
in your defense.
I've got two other nominees. I put down Corey Stoll, who Lambert, you'll know him best from Ant-Man. He plays Yellow Jacket, the bald guy.
Okay, I got you. Yep.
He's
Yep.
also in he's actually in House of Cards.
He's in House of Cards. Yep.
He's also in
That's right.
Billions.
Yeah.
And then my favorite that I came with on my own is Jonathan Groff. I think
That'd be a good
Ooh,
one.
I love
think
him.
he would be very good as a very deadpan. Like I'm thinking about him from Mindhunter and how deadpan, like
Yeah.
he kind of almost is like a sociopath as a FBI, psychologist or whatever his role is. But
I mean,
um,
well, he kills it as King George. I mean, that's the way he
obviously,
the
he's great in Hamilton. That goes without saying.
that's show stealing, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
that would
But he's
be,
fantastic in Frozen.
and he's good in Frozen.
Oh yeah.
All right, Alia, who you got for John Doe?
Nicholas Holt.
That's fucking great. That's actually really good.
Nicholas Holt, because he's calculating, cold, and intelligent, and
I mean,
he's good looking. Like, you
he's
know
a
what I'm
great
saying?
Lex. I don't know if you've seen Lex Luthor. He's a great suit man. He's a great.
I'm supposed to go see it with my brothers. So, and they've already
He's
seen it. So, like, and
he's excellent.
I really want to. But that was the first that, yeah, came to mind for me for that. The only one.
Lambert.
Okay, so I was looking for someone innocent, innocent looking, and unassuming, because that's kind of what John Doe is. So I wrote down three names.
Okay.
I wrote down Michael Cera.
Hmm.
I wrote down Elijah Wood,
Oh,
Oh,
and probably the one that I like the most is Eddie Redmayne.
oh,
He's a little bit older. He's in his early 40s, but he looks really young. But honestly, like looking at this now, like I may like Elijah Wood the most out of those three names, just because.
I I I think it's between Nicholas Hoult and Elijah Wood. Um, Lambert, have you seen Superman?
No.
Okay, so before Superman, I would have not agreed with that pick. But now having seen him play Lex Luthor, and he basically is a fucking mastermind psychopath, um, I could see him being a really good John, really good John Doe.
did you ever see him in Catherine the Great
No.
or the Great?
It's called The Great. Yeah,
No.
no, I never watched that. No,
He's excellent in that, and I think that that's probably why maybe I had sort of like picked that, but just fantastic.
but I also think Elijah Wood would be really fun.
I love Elijah Wood. I think he would be fantastic too. But for me, it's Nicholas Hoult.
I think that'd be a coin flip, honestly. Either one would be good. To stream or not to stream. So I was thinking about this. I think it's great as a wrapped up movie, but also if this was remade today, it would not be a movie. This would be a fucking miniseries, or
I that yeah, I
this
limited
would be
series.
Netflix, and it would be probably 9 episodes, maybe seven, just to stick with the seven deadly sins.
Yeah,
But I think if you think 5 episodes, no way. I think it's seven at the
Well,
minimum.
I use Chernobyl as
What I'm saying is, if you've
the
already got
baseline.
seven deadly sins, I think if every episode is a sin, they would
Yeah.
they would do that, and then you could also have like a butt end intro outro
yeah.
episode
Mm.
I think it's 7 on it. Either way, it's
Mm.
definitely not a movie. I think we can agree.
Yeah.
This is a
No, it can still be a movie, but
what
I
could
like the
be.
miniseries idea.
It could be, but I think if this is made today, made into a series for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Limited.
It's very limited, you know. Then again, like you can dive deeper into each crime scene and
Yeah, I
then
think that that's where it would probably do better because you don't really get a whole lot of answers in the movie, like why he really necessarily picked those people. Like, I mean, you kind of get
yeah,
it, and maybe that is also why the movie moves so quickly. But
It
I think that
could also be a lot more cat and mouse. Like maybe they stop like a lust and then he does another lust. Like maybe there's like a it's not just like a crime. Like if you think about this movie, I don't want to step on. Well, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Like if you think about like one of my inner nerd thoughts was no, nothing that Mills and Somerset does impacts the entire storyline. Like they fail. Like John Doe wins. He
no,
kills
it's very Raiders of the Lost Ark-esque. Like
100%. I wrote
Harrison
down
Ford doesn't do anything. Like the Nazis still get it. They still open it. Like no matter what he does, like they still get everything. Like
I
he's just
wrote
kind of in the
down
way.
this reminds me of the Big Bang Theory
Yeah,
when Penny
exactly.
says, so Indiana didn't do anything. It all ended the exact same way. And they're like, what? Oh, wait a minute. Like that's what this movie is. Literally nothing that Mills and Somerset does
They don't stop anything.
impacts anything. The only difference is because they were involved. Now
It
Mills's wife is the
it
one who gets killed.
finishes.
That's
It
how it ends.
no, because they're involved, it finishes.
Right, 100%. That's the only
Yeah.
reason, that's the only thing that they do. Otherwise,
that's
it would have been
fun.
some other person that like John Doe committed envy with and then somebody else committed wrath with. Like, that's the only thing that impacts this entire movie. So, um, I think it's a good segue to Tomorrow's Another Day, which is, what's next, right? I'm curious. My only question I had, which was, what happens to Mills?
I mean, I obviously have thoughts on this. When do you want me to
Let's
go?
let Alia go first because Lambert always has like he's got a 3 movie sequel planned.
No, I just have one.
Okay, all right. Go ahead, Alia.
So Mills gets committed to a health facility. He doesn't do any time because it's obviously a heat of the moment. Like they don't really, I don't think they use like temporary insanity anymore, but that is more or less what it is.
Yeah.
And so instead of him serving real time, he goes to a mental health facility. Obviously, he's forced to retire from um, being a detective. But then after he's released, he becomes a private detective and he and Somerset work on crimes together.
See,
Hmm,
mine is kind of like that.
I like that. All right, Lambert, add on to that.
So mine ends the same way. So Somerset works as an investigator for the defense team that's hired to defend Mills when again I said when he presumably enters a plea of temporary insanity for the murder trial of John Doe. In a twist of fate, John Doe, knowing that Mills would shoot him, had his will updated to hire his defense attorney for the eventual defense of Mills in his murder trial.
Like, I'm gonna make you kill me, but also I'm gonna help you get off.
I know you're going to kill me, so I'm going to give you my lawyer to
Yeah.
defend you in that trial.
Okay. That would make sense.
I like that. I
And
like
then
that a lot.
between the
I
two of
like
them,
that.
they're able to get acquitted. He goes to a health facility, gets the necessary treatment, and then they start a PI firm together.
So
I
you and
love
I
that.
had literally the same
Oh yeah,
question.
they
Yeah.
start a PI firm with Somerset. Like that's
Yeah.
what I
So
wrote down.
that's season 2 of this show we already talked about.
Yeah, yeah, that could be
Now
season
we're
two.
talking now we're talking 10 episode seasons. Like that's forever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. All right. I love it, guys. Nerd facts. I'll start. New Line Cinema executives apparently originally balked at the ending, but Brad Pitt actually refused to make the film if the ending was changed, so they moved forward with it regardless.
I love it. Mentioned this. Denzel Washington turned down the role of Mills that went to Brad Pitt, telling Entertainment Tonight that the film was too dark and evil. Washington later regretted his decision upon seeing a screening.
And yeah, that's part of the reason why I thought he'd be so great at being Somerset in a recast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Brad Pitt fell while filming the scene in which Mills chases John Doe in the rain. Pitt's arm went through a car windshield, requiring surgery. The accident was worked into the script. Coincidentally, the original script called for Detective Mills to be injured during the sequence.
Telling you that scene, it's intense,
That's a
obviously.
good
It
one.
really
That's a good
is.
one.
Speaking of Brad Pitt, he actually bought his own ties for the movie because he wanted Mills to have a poor fashion sense, which he does.
Yeah.
But he still looks good though.
David Fincher told Kevin Spacey and Brad Pitt, this is not going to be a movie that you're remembered for, but it may be a movie you're incredibly proud of. I don't know. I don't think they're kind of remembered for it too.
Yeah, it's kind of both, right?
I'm just saying.
As preparation for his traumatic scene in the interrogation room, Leland Orser would hyperventilate so that his body would be overly saturated with oxygen. He also did not sleep for a few days in order to achieve his character's disoriented look.
That is dedication to a
Yeah.
small part.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I love it.
It's yeah. Just thinking about that scene. And now my other least favorite scene. David Fincher wanted someone obviously who was incredibly skinny to play Victor, and Michael Reed McKay auditioned. He actually weighed 96 pounds, and Fincher gave him the part and jokingly told him to lose some more weight, which he did. If you don't know who Michael McKay is, he played Jason 143 in X2, X-Men 2. Plays Stryker's son, the guy in the wheelchair.
Oh, in the wheelchair.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the guy who can
Okay.
like
Yeah.
control people's.
Whoa.
Control them.
He
Yeah.
can like give them like that. Yeah, basically gets in their
The
head.
delusions or the illusions. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That's crazy.
Mhm.
David Fincher was determined to make the film without compromising his vision because on his first film, Alien 3, he had constant battles with the studio over creative control. And he was fired 3 times. Similar to Alien 3, the studio wanted to change the ending, but like at this time, Fincher was successfully backed by Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
Gotta stick with it.
I mean, I think this is a thing that's Fincher, like Fincher had such a bad experience making Aliens 3 that whenever he's asked to make a movie like with this production company, he was like I think it's 20th Century Fox, he's like, I don't want anything to do with that. I'm pretty sure Fight Club's in the same boat. Like I'm glad he eventually like said, fuck you, I'm gonna take control of it, but like it was like a real thing because Alien 3 was so bad. I mean, I don't think it's a bad movie. I'm saying it was so bad for him, and I think as
Yeah.
an
No, no,
outcome,
no.
Yeah.
Understood.
I think the
Understood.
studio changed a ton of stuff to
Yeah.
where it was maybe not going to be as bad as it was. I mean, again, there's good elements to it, but like you can tell it was like chopped the fuck up and like not as good as it should have been.
Yeah. Makeup for the sloth victim Victor took over 14 hours.
It's not a surprise.
That sounds
No,
like
it's
a
not.
torture. But I mean, like if you look at it, the detail of it is just like phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's freaky to look
Mhm.
at.
The film's dark look was achieved through a chemical process called bleach bypass. The silver in the film stock was not removed, which deepened the dark, shadowy images in the film. And it does. It feels like you're sitting in like when you're in the police station or whatever. It's
Yeah.
like there are no overhead lights in this place. It's a bunch of lamps. It's
Yep.
like
Yeah.
it's dark. It's dark.
I think that for me it really was really apparent during the first I keep wanting to say sloth and it's not gluttony in the gluttony
Oh
scene
yeah.
for
Yep.
me. I think that that's where it's the most apparent at
Yep.
first.
The filmmakers decided it should always be raining for 2 reasons. It added a sense of dread, and they never had to worry about bad weather. It was always raining in that movie, except for the
Yeah.
end. At the end, it was not.
Yeah, that's true. All of John Doe's books were real books written for the film. They took 2 months to complete and cost $15,000. According to Morgan Freeman in the movie, 2 months is about the time it would take the police to read all of the books.
Hmm.
I am jealous that you have the DVD, and I'm gonna have to find it. I don't care if I have to buy it used on like Amazon. I want to read those.
You should. Yeah, it's not all of them, but there are definitely some
No,
there.
no, no, no. I get that. Yeah. I'm sitting here for 2 months reading through
It's
that
not
shit. You
two
guys are
months
like,
worth
Alia, I need you to
of
get over
journals.
this.
Yeah, I'm going to be worried about your mental state if you
This
decide to
is
read
a
all of
Yeah.
those.
sickness.
Be like, yeah, you know what? This manifesto, I agree. The producers intended that Kevin Spacey should receive top billing star of the movie, not Brad Pitt. But he insisted that his name not appear in the opening credits because he didn't want to surprise the audience about him being the killer. To compensate, he is listed twice in the closing credits, once before the credits start rolling and once in the rolling credits in order of appearance. Another advantage from Spacey's point of view as he saw it was that he was excluded from the film's marketing during its release, meaning he didn't have to go to any public appearances.
You
So
didn't
like
have to do the PR tour. I like
That's
it.
smart
I
as
actually
like
hell.
it.
it's pretty smart.
That's pretty smart. The ending of the movie is the ending in the original draft of the screenplay that the actors and director had signed on to do. Before filming started, producer Arnold Coppelson had it rewritten to John Doe kidnapping Tracy with Mills and Somerset racing to save her life. When David Fincher, Brad Pitt, and Morgan Freeman read the new ending, they all demanded that the original ending be put back in or they wouldn't do the movie.
I'm glad they did that.
Again, kind of
Yeah,
reinforcing that, but it gives a little bit more
there's
insight
there's
into like
no
what was that alternate ending. And I totally agree. Like, no,
you yeah, there's no other way to do it.
it doesn't have
If
the
the
same
actors
impact.
if the actors have that much pull in order to correct it, that means a lot. But you said, Justin, you said that there are the alternate endings on the DVD as well.
Yeah.
I would want to watch those just to know. Not that I want them, but just to know.
Yeah. They filmed a couple different endings for sure.
That's cool.
In our nerd thoughts, did we learn anything? I got a couple questions. First, why are they still living in that house with the train? Like, just, is it a
They
leak?
just moved.
But is
It's
it a
hard to
Yeah,
leak?
move, man.
everything was
Moving
in boxes.
sucks.
Everything was in boxes. If you look at during the scene where they're having Somerset over for dinner, they've got boxes piled up
They had literally
like
just moved in.
on the wall against the
No.
wall.
But is it a rental or do they buy it? I don't remember if they said that.
Yeah, well, all they said was that there was a realtor, and every time the realtor came to show them, they were there 5 minutes at a time.
Okay.
I'm
So
assuming that they bought it.
All right.
if you're yeah, normally, and this is something that I'll have to say, this kind of comes up a little later, is like normally in New York, like sometimes you do go through a realtor in order to rent places, but like technically most people don't associate a realtor with renting. Like it's buying,
It's buying. Yep.
Yeah. Well, not great. I thought Spacey played this John Doe as kind of a mixture between Verbal Kent and Francis Underwood. I thought it was a interesting like evolution of his characters he's played.
Yeah.
All right, so I only have two more. First, the interesting part about this, it's like kind of like a Matrix situation or like a chicken before the egg. Like if John Doe doesn't have Mills and Somerset investigating this crime,
hmm
how does he finish this masterpiece, right? Like how do you get to envy and wrath? I don't know. This is an unanswerable question, right? I mean,
Well,
like,
I mean, he's playing chess, not checkers.
Can you please say that again to me? What
so
about with the wrath?
well,
So
so the way that the whole his masterpiece ends is that he envies Mills's kid or wife and soon to be kid, and
yeah,
then knows that Mills will then
commit
kill
wrath.
kill him and commit wrath. But if Mills is not the investigator on this case, how does he complete his masterpiece. I
Right.
mean,
If
like
everything else has been calculated up to a certain
it's
point,
been planned
where
for
yeah,
months,
yeah,
right? I mean,
totally,
Well,
totally.
maybe he's
I
part of the
I get
plan.
that. Well, I mean,
That's what sets
maybe
everything off. Like
maybe
now
it's
there's
just
the right person retiring
hmm.
and there's this new guy coming in. Now's the time to go because I can prey on this guy.
I just think it's an interesting conversation because like you don't like again
Yeah.
chicken before the egg. Like, does he start this off because he knows that Mills and Somerset are going to be taking the case, or there's no way to predict that? So like, how do you actually know?
Or is it adapting and it's rolling with what it's playing the hand that you're dealt
Yeah,
and realizing that, oh, yep, that can work. I
yeah.
think I don't
It's just again,
I wouldn't lean towards that. I would lean
I
towards like all
and
of this has been pre-planned, all of this has been calculated. He's done his research on Mills. He knew he was coming in town.
and when I say Matrix, I'm actually more referring to when he's talking to the Oracle and
Oh
she's
no,
like,
I know what you're talking about. You know, if
"What's really going to bake
what's
your
really going to make
noodle?"
your noodle later is would you still have knocked it over had I not said anything?
Right.
Like
So
exactly. Yeah. No, I know what you're talking about.
my
Yeah.
last question is, or not question, but comment is, Somerset, just fucking tackle Mills. Why are you letting him
Yeah,
stand
why
there?
just shoot him? I mean, in the leg. Like
Shoot him,
don't
that's
kill him.
that
or
I think it's
just fucking rush him and bum rush him and tackle him to the ground. Like there's fucking SWAT everywhere.
Right.
yeah.
Like
I totally yeah. He's a little helpless.
John Doe's cuffed. Just
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
that was the only part was like, all right, man, come on, do something to stop this.
yeah. So so I did take the did we learn anything quite literally and came up with two things.
all right.
All right. So Um, the part where they meet with the skeezy dude, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but the government watch list with the libraries.
Oh yeah. That guy's also in
Um,
Batman Begins, by the way.
that's right.
Yeah.
So government watch lists are a real thing. Libraries are the original form of Google. The FBI's library awareness program took place in the 70s and 80s and involved monitoring library patron reading habits and gathering information. So, I don't know if you guys remember, like back in like middle school and high school, people would be like, "Oh, you can't like, get something like, you know, uh, God, now it's escaping me, but certain books, they were
Mein
like, oh no,
Kampf.
Mein Kampf is definitely one of them. The what's the the one where you can learn how to make like, chemicals and pipe bombs and all that kind of shit.
Oh yeah, what is
The,
that?
I,
I
the,
know
I
I know
know
what
the
you're talking
name of
about.
it, but because I have to think of it
Yeah,
now, it's
yeah,
gone.
yeah, 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 yeah.
But like shit like that. So yeah,
That
that's
like
a
the
real
Communist
thing.
Manifesto and like anything
Yeah,
from Karl Marx
yeah,
and yeah, whatever.
yeah. So that was a real thing. Um, and then the second thing that came up for me, which I thought was really fascinating, and this is the reason why I stopped on the newspaper stand, because I knew this before the movie, I watched the movie, is that the movie doesn't explicitly say where it takes place.
No,
Like they never actually
they never
say
say what city.
where, what city,
They never say
what
where Mills
state.
is from, and they never say where they
Yeah,
are. Yep.
none of that.
Hmm.
And so that was why I was pausing at the newspapers to see, if it might be setting up where, it might give a hint, because they do allude to places like Uptown, and then they even say like, oh, upstate. So in my opinion, it does allude to it being New York, because I've never heard of any other place where they say upstate other than New York.
Yep.
But it's not explicitly said.
Yeah, and I kind of assumed it was New York, but
Yeah.
they're not saying that for sure. Well, final thoughts, current legacy. You know, where do you think this movie now, 30 years later, lives in people's psyches, right? Is this a movie that people talk about? Is it a movie that people know about? I don't know the answer to that. Lambert, what do you think?
I mean, it's a movie that people need to know about. So and you know this, like Andrew, my older brother, friend of the show, he has a list of movies for his 20-year-old son to go through. And after talking about this, he was over the weekend. This movie is now on that list. But like Fight Club, he had never seen Fight Club before. He had never seen Usual Suspects. He pegged Usual Suspects. It was like, oh, like he called who Kaiser Soze was before the end of the movie. Fight Club, he had no idea. He has not seen this, but like this is one of those movies that like everybody has to see.
Yeah.
I think
If it's only just once, because again, this is a tough re this is not one that you watch every Christmas or like, every single year or anything like that. It can be a tough rewatch, but like this is something that everyone needs to see.
I have to say that with certain with the way generationally, this set us up for something new, and it has been redone in certain ways and set up the genre to be recreated in that way that really kind of turns it on its head. So it's no longer new. Like, so for us, it was kind of like altering, you know.
Hmm.
But this is done in a way that it's not as like, maybe obvious as something like I don't feel as though that like the usual suspects is obvious, but like I'm also of an older generation than someone who's 20 years old.
Right.
But I also I think that like it's pivotal. It's one of those things that for film, it just goes to show the gradual change and how things changed, and that it did set up other things to be done in that way.
Done
Yeah.
in that way, but there is nothing like this.
Correct.
There
Yeah.
is nothing like this movie and how they did it.
It's in
I
that
think that
time,
that's what sets it apart.
it's in that time period of the shock ending where you have to
Yeah.
guess like what's going to actually happen. But again, the beginning of the realism in film, where we're tired of the Rambos and the Predators and the whatever, where like, you know, you shoot and they shoot 30 bullets back and nothing hits you, and then
And
you
I shoot
shoot
100 back without changing a magazine.
Right.
Like,
and now
yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
we're getting grounded in realism, and like the bad guys start to win, and like you start seeing that, and even like, and it kind of comes to like a peak almost where you get to Nolan's Batmans and things like that, where it's like we want things to be realistic, and now it's actually switching back from that. But I think this is a movie that I don't know that a lot of people. I think that if you talk to the younger generations, they know that it exists, but I'm not sure this is a movie that is like on their watch.
No, I don't
Like,
think
No, it's not.
yeah,
It-
I agree with that. I agree with that. I think that anybody who was born in the 90s has seen it, but starting if you start reaching into the 2000s, probably not so much.
yeah. I'd be curious to see if Jordan has heard of this movie or seen it. Because she's 26, born in 90, like born in 99. So, but like I'm curious to see if she's heard of this movie.
Yeah.
you should ask her. I think it's
I will
a
have to ask her.
if you know about Fincher and Brad Pitt, maybe you're traversing back there, but it's not necessarily like people think Fight Club done, and then after that you're like, well, maybe you should go back a couple years and watch Seven because it's incredible, but also maybe just watch it once and watch it during the daytime. uh, all right, well, listen, Nerd Outreach, Alia, thank you so much for joining us today. This has been fun.
Thank you for having me. You guys are the best. I this is fantastic. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you.
Good. All right,
I
we'll
will
get
I will I will give Ali a credit, and Hildebrand, you of all people will appreciate this because she was going through her list. One of the movies was like because she I said look at anniversary movies, and one of them was Desperado, but we kind of have plans for that one.
you.
The other movie, one of the other movies on her list was Four Rooms.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
we'll have to do that one then as well this year because
So,
Yeah.
and I know you're a big fan of that one, and I was like, oh, but let's do seven because we got to do seven. So I wanted to put that out there too.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna add that to the list right now. All right. Well, good. Well, Lambert, as always, thank you, of course.
Thank you.
Uh,
Happy belated birthday to, or no, not belated, early, sorry, early birthday to my wife. Her birthday is tomorrow.
Happy birthday, Megan!
Yes.
Yeah,
So,
I got it on my calendar to text her tomorrow. So
yep.
good. Well, obviously you can listen to us on all the platforms for the podcast, and of course we're on YouTube with all of our nerd bites and nerd takes. Um, but yeah, listen, our next episode we're going to be bringing in another Lambert that we haven't heard from yet. Lambert's mom,
Mrs. Lambert.
Mrs. Lambert, and we're going to be talking about Monty Python and the Holy Grail because it's been how many years now?
50?
It's
55? 50?
55. It's 55.
55? And it is her favorite movie of all time. And
Yeah.
she is the reason why I love this movie so much.
Well, it's going to be fun.
It's one of my very favorites. It's one of
It
my
is.
very favorites. It's one of my siblings' very favorites that we watch at least once a year. That's going to be a fun one. I can't wait to watch that episode.
I have not watched it in a few years, so I'm excited for the rewatch.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, until next time, we'll see you guys soon.
See you.
Bye.
Bye bye. All right, that's it. Episode over.
Episode over.
Um, so I do have to say, guys, what are the odds of you guys having to watch 2 consecutive movies where Kevin Spacey's the bad guy and he's walking with a limp?
We, yeah, I mean we literally. I mean, Usual Suspects has been on our list for a while, right?
I mean, as soon as it was like, as soon as it was January 1st, 2025, yeah, Usual Suspects was on our list because we knew that was a 95 movie. There's a lot of bangers in 95.
Yeah,
It's a big year.
yeah.
Yeah, if you get kind of spoiled like that, you don't really know, like you don't want to like live how the other people live.
No, absolutely not.
I joke around like so our friend Swinehart, his parents had a bus that we always rode in during Mardi Gras for the parade and stuff. And we did it for like a decade, and then the bus like crapped out finally and they stopped doing it. And then the next year we went down there like just like, to walk. And I was like, this is the fucking shittiest thing that you had to pay to use the bathroom, you had to wait in lines. I was like, I'm not ever doing this again. So like, yeah, it's easy to get pretty darn spoiled. All right, you guys get to do the opener,
Okay.
the teaser, and then
So I have a note or a question.
yeah.
A note. They whisper this. So are we supposed to whisper?
I mean, he kind of whispers it. He kind of doesn't. Like, I mean,
He says, honestly, have you ever seen anything like this?
yeah,
And
it's kind of like,
and then he says,
Yeah.
I mean, we can do it however you want
do it
to.
however you
I can
wanna
do
do
it
it.
like that. That's fine. I'll channel my inner Brad Pitt.
How do you think it's going so far?
I think it's I'm really enjoying it. I hope I'm doing all right.
You're doing great.
Doing great.
Okay. Yeah, I'm loving it. Thank you. I'm having fun with you guys, and
Good.
I loved listening to your last one, which really helped me prepare.
Yeah.
Oh, the second longest episode we've ever recorded. Yeah, that one.
It was
Yeah.
fucking amazing. Like you said, like I got it and I was like, I stayed up all night listening to it. Or not all night, but I stayed up late listening to it. And it was just fantastic. It made me so happy.
We had a lot to say.